Think different means I am not actually bouncing a ball, tossing a ball while I'm coaching. I have a machine that's going to be doing that for me. So I can 100% watch my students, cheerlead them, be a scorekeeper, or go video them like the golf pros do. And so you'll be seeing that kind of image. It's different, but it sure is easier. Of course, if you're not feeding a ball, you also means you're not picking up balls afterwards. So there's a whole different mindset. On the tip side, these games that you're going to see should be lasting about 3 to 5 minutes. Make it a game to determine what percentage of balls feel like they were solidly hit in that sweet spot. Because once they start focusing on the feel of the sweet spot, they actually focus on the ball and don't worry about looking over. And that stops their head from shifting. The skills that they're going to learn is they're going to be learning those last 3 feet are the most important. They're going to be telling you, yeah, I looked up too soon. You start by pushing down. That's just to make it move. And there's a 1, 2, hit on 3. 3 is when the ball crosses over the crossbar and comes closest to them. If they hit it before it crosses over, it will more than likely miss the sweet spot. The sweet spot is after it crosses over. That's those last 3 feet. Start them for the first time with 1 ball at a time. Push it down, let them come up, hit it. Next one, push it down, come up, hit it, just like you're drop feeding. Then you can back out and say, okay, let's try to go 5 in a row, or let's try to go 10 in a row. And now they're all learning how to track a ball and focus on it in the last 3 feet. All we have to say is, yes, it's a solid hit, or no, it's a miss hit. And make it fun. Example, we know that try to beat 50%. That's what the pros are doing. Then try to get them up to 80 or 90% when they're on their machines. They'll be able to get to 90% looking and feeling like they're playing tennis on the machines. It will not transfer because once the ball flies away, they'll start looking over again, but they'll get better. The only cues we use are 1, 2, hit on 3. And when appropriate, there's a 4. Federer looks up on 4. The rest of us are looking up on 3. And that's what the machine is designed for, is hit on 3 and look up on 4. It means your head stops for 1/10 of a second before you look up. When your head is still, you'll hit the sweet spot. Golfers do it, baseball players do it for that 1/10 of a second, and then they look up. You don't have to teach it. You just have to use the machine. The 3 F's is they should always look and feel like they're playing tennis. No feet are ever stopping. There's no standing around. The machines will create that because there's 30 balls are hit a minute. So there's no time to sit around. All right. So now we're going to take a look at what it would look like if you were the coach and you're now doing these games. You could use it for a warm-up. We highly recommend it's a great warm-up. In 3 to 5 minutes, they are warmed up and they're focusing better than if you just started doing regular live ball hitting. As you can see, it's a portable machine. This is just the introduction. Use it for a still ball, which you've been doing, and then the moving ball for their spacing and their timing. It allows you to do a bunch of things. You can see how still their heads are. These are the last 3 feet. So we've taken care of the miss hits with their head. You can be a coach. It simulates live play to look like you're feeding them a ball. So they look like they're playing tennis, right?
Yeah.
And 300 balls will be hit in 5 minutes with one machine. But now we're going to start looking at drills. So here's a cool drill. Notice where the 2 machines are. This is one's for the approach, one's for the volley. So, well, hell, I can feed a ball and do that. Exactly. But you will not be able to get their balance and their timing as quickly because the ball is not flying away. Their head stops. So you can see after this gentleman hits, he is working on recovery, going backwards. In tennis, you have to be able to go all different directions within a split second. And you can tell your parents this because what I'm going to be showing you is these people are working on forward movements, spacing, and then backward movement patterns in footwork, forward and backward. Take a look. He's working on recovery footwork, and the guy coming forward is working on moving towards the ball. Not many people move forward very well. Now these kids are working on lateral movement, spacing. Then he's got to work on his agility around the ball. Then he's got to come up and get to this ball before the bounce of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So they're synchronizing a rally.
Oh man.
Two players are hitting at the same time. So now he's got to come up and he's got to work on his inside out footwork. The other kid's working on their lateral movement. So you've got lots of footwork being worked on. And if you didn't put it into stop action, you say, well, they just look like you're hitting a ball on a stick. No, they're not. They're hitting a ball, and then the last 3 feet, they're learning how to work on their balance and their timing and their footwork so they can hit it. Because as you saw, the last 3 feet is where 90% of the problem happens. So we are starting there. Is this making any sense, gentlemen?
Yeah.
So you set the machines up wherever you want, but notice that they must get to every ball as it comes across that crossbar. If they hit it before it comes across, they'll miss hit. Okay, this is just an approach and a volley. So they're working on forward movement, just a 1-ball drill, and a split step for their next shot. You know how hard it is to get kids to go to their next spot, right? So this is a 1-ball feed. They'll hit 30 balls in 5 minutes. There'll be 150. We're doing forehand and backhand. So he's coming up. He's made his volley, or it looks like a volley to me. And now he's got to go cover his shot. So you have your plates up here. So they're running to those plates. But they're also now keeping score because the team on the other court is also doing the same drill. And they're trying to see which team in 3 minutes can keep the ball going and get the most amount of solid hits. So this kid is giving himself 3. That means he's now got 3 solid hits. The coach could call it out if he wanted to, or he can let the kids call it. He's up to 3. He may be at 2. He's trying to get to his 3. The other court is now competing, and he knows that they're up to around 3. And so they start hearing this. So what do they focus on? They focus on the ball at the point of contact so that they can get their numbers up. And so she's feeling that sweet spot number. So all we're saying is what's most important, where the ball lands on the strings is at the end of the day, how your lesson is going to improve. So we start thinking differently by the very first slide we said, or second slide, which is let's increase the balls that hit in the middle of the strings, whether they're a pro tour or a beginner. So now we're going to look at another drill. This one is a two machines. These are 8 kids on a court. You could double that to 16. She's only doing her forehand. He's doing backhand. Let's take a look at what it looks like from the setup point of view. Working on forward movement, and now they're working on agility and recovery footwork. They're not staying around that net too long. So he's now going to be backing up. She's going forward, and they're competing with the other side of the court. So it's a little fun competition, 3 to 6 minutes. Which is the best team that can get the most solid contacts, and the ball is always being hit on a 1, 2, and 3. That ball's got to come across 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. If he hits on 2, he's going to miss. Now this is a cool drill. He's going for the world's record. These 2, so you got 3 people playing. He's trying to see how many balls he can get to in a row, hit solidly, and the world's record is 22. And so he's competing, and they are working on lateral footwork. He is working on speed, agility, and anticipation, meaning where is that next ball going to be? He has got to react with his eyes, and nothing else is going to help him. So now he runs all the way over here. He's got to get to this one on 3. He makes it. Now he's got to turn, and he's got to find the next ball and get to that ball on 3. 1, 2. Did he make it? Yes, he made it.
He made
So,
it for, oh, man.
that's a pretty cool drill. And all we're trying to do is give you the imagination to say, what else could I do? You know, I could throw balls, but right now I have 3 people working on things. Now, these kids just won their division in the camp, and they are competing against themselves to see, and the coach is counting. Let's see who gets the most, and all the other campers are lined up here, and they all competed. But now the other ones are out here, so now they're competing, the blue team against the white team. Who's going to win? And the coach is keeping score. That looks like one solid, so it's 1-1. 1, 2, and he's got to get it on 3. Yes, she did. And now he's got to get back there on 3, and she's got to get back here on 3. Did she get on time? I couldn't tell. So that's just another idea. Kind of making sense, guys?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
I like that.
Not many people are working hard. Now, this one is 3 machines. On the back one, I'd like to think that what he's working on is taking the balls earlier, moving forward on the baseline. Not laterally, but backing up and moving forward. Nadal was really, really almost back to the fence for a while, and now their coaches have moved him up to say, "Come move up forward, take it sooner, take it sooner." That's what this would drill. These 2 are working on lateral footwork movement. They're how to cover the baseline and move quickly and get in position for balance. She is working on her volley footwork to be quick and shorten up her stroke and be able to work on her agility around the machine, okay? And I'm out there doing nothing, just coaching. But when I say switch, watch what's going to happen. Now everybody she has got to fly back and get to that ball. That's like a lob over her head, and it's going to bounce. And that's going to be the 1, 2, and she is only thinking about, I've got to get back there before that ball passes the crossbar on 3. I got to be waiting for it. And this has got the same problem. I've got to get up here on 3 before that ball comes across the bar. I've got to get all the way up there and make a perfect volley. This person did it. I can't see whether she did it or not, but I can tell you one thing. The machine is driving her to get back there, to not let her teammates down. She's got to get all the way back there and go. She did get it. So that's pretty great. So you see what machines can do for us?
Yeah. That's awesome.
And they're having fun because they're competing. In this particular case, they were individually competing, seeing which person could get the most amount of solid contacts on purpose. Now, here's another good one. Here you got 4 players working on different levels of footwork: recovery footwork, forward footwork. Now we're working on just agility, just real short agility spacing footwork. When you have 3 machines and 3 people hitting, if you do the math, 1 machine is 30 potential sweet spot hits a minute. If you have 3 players all hitting at the same time, that'll be 90 hits. They do this for 4 minutes, which they can't. There will be 360 balls hit, working on speed and agility. They don't know they're learning to keep their head still on balance, trying to get some sweet spot hits. And the goal is to get a score of 90% feel solid. They will be probably around 30 to 40% day 1. But day 5, 6, and 7, if these are done every day, they'll get up to that 90%. And you say, well, what good is it for them to be at 90%? Well, if they get to 90%, what happens when they go out to hit balls? Instead of being at 10%, they will start to recognize and be more focused. And we expect every level to go up 20, 30, and 40% in live play. And they do. So, but they have to practice. So that's just it's rainy day.
Yeah.
Up in the hills of South Carolina. It never rains when you have eye coaches. You pull them inside and you do games and competitions. And Peter and I were partners in a camp down here in Charleston, and it rains plenty. And we found a shelter that we could get under, and we got our 6-8 machines, and we had camp drills and contests, and screaming and yelling, and the parents were very happy about it. So we never canceled camp or clinics.
Yep. The I coaches saved our camp last week. We had 2 days of solid rain, and we didn't miss a beat.
Good. Well, here's your 1, 2, 3. I hope the 1, 2, 3 is making sense to you. So now look at this. Bring your adults out here. Hey, let's have a cardio day. I want to show you guys something. And after they do this, you now notice, do you have 3 machines being hit, working on agility. She's working on forward movement. He's going through his split step. Then he's going to have to, so that all of the dynamics of footwork, trust me when well, don't trust me. A 4-year-old can do these. A 4-year-old with the junior, if you haven't gotten junior ones, get some junior high coaches and start developing their agility, their balance, their speed, their lateral movement. The parents love it because you can tell them, this is what we're going to be working on. Change of directions. So I just hope you could see, here's one here. So he hits a forehand, hits a backhand, and hits an approach shot. She comes up and gets to her approach shot. After that, she goes to the net, does her split step. Then she's got to get back and sprint all the way to the back. He's running up to his ball. So we have ball feeders everywhere, and you can see his head. He wasn't that good in the beginning. His head is now really good, really good. So he probably had a solid hit. It's a really cool drill. Same idea, but instead of having a baseline, you can go ground stroke, approach shot, and then what? A volley.
Yeah.
And there it's coming back, boom, perfect sweet spot.
High volley set up on ball cart.
Oh.
1, 2, and he's focusing where? At the point of contact. His head will not move. And now when he goes to play, in 5 minutes, we go back and we start saying, okay, now go hit balls. And I want you at the net, I want you to tell me how many balls you can get in a minute that felt solid. And you're going to be on the baseline. I want you to tell me how many balls you can get in a minute that felt solid. By doing that, they have this frame of reference. So instead of overthinking, they start feeling the ball at contact. Their mind is now where the ball is. If they look over, they cannot feel it, and they'll be back to making unforced errors. So now if they have learned something from you, that we hope you will help us with our mission to revolutionize tennis. And that is, hey, if we can feel the sweet spot, we know what Federer's doing. Then we have now trained them to be able to hit the sweet spot. They're not going to want to look up. And look at the workout they're getting. There's no feet still. And the coach, what's he doing? I mean, maybe he's getting a lunch break. I don't know. This is a nice way to warm up. It could be a contest to say, I want everybody to get 20 solid hits before we go into our fed ball drills. It could be a competition. Same thing. There's a lot of machines. We recommend 4 at a time. This is just out there, but here's a good use of 4 machines. You got 8 people competing. Look at the energy that's out there right now. It's crazy.
Plus you're doing
the energy, and they're not bored. Trust me, they're not bored. What are these team on the right? They are keeping score. They had better be hitting solid. The team on the left, they are keeping score. They've got to get back and keep their score. And if they let each other down, it's teamwork. Nobody's letting each other down. So this kid is better get back quick. He's already cheating, getting in faster. But this is what we want. We look there, you see, you can work on, I'm going to skip technique. They're working on timing. They're working on tactics. They're working on footwork. They can work on balance. These are all different formations. You can make it about agility. You can say we're going to work on speed today. You can say we're going to work on spacing, or you can say we're going to work on the sweet spot. You can combine these or separate them. It doesn't matter. They are going to get the benefit of them. The speed is when they have to run far distances, which you've seen. Technique is a different story when ball's moving, but hopefully we've given you the vision.
Yeah, I like it. That's fantastic. I like what we've seen. There's so much more to it than I ever dreamed. So that's great.
Yeah. Well, us too, but now that we're all dreamers, we'll be doing this together. So what's in reverse, we're going to talk a little bit more. It stops head shifting for 17 different shots: approach shots, ground strokes, volleys, top spin, open stance, closed stance. It saves you hundreds of balls of feeding a week, thousands of dollars, used as a feeder. It's scientific. It's just not a gimmick. You got to know how to use it. It does feed perfectly balls so people can go home and practice. Perfect for practicing at home. So we want you to sell them and make money selling them, and make more money because students are going to come back and take more lessons if they practice between lessons.